started. I'm going to do our practice today is going to be talking about the importance of the exhale. So we all know about the importance of our breathing cycle, and sometimes we get really stuck in our inhale phase, and that has a lot of issues associated with it as far as our health goes. So when we inhale, our heart rate goes up a little bit. And when we exhale, our heart rate goes down a little bit, and that creates heart rate variability, which is really important. However, if we are under stress, if we are out of alignment in our spine, it's going to affect our breathing, particularly our exhale. Now, it's all any misalignment in our spine, which we're going to experiment with a little bit today, is going to affect our breathing. Some of them more so affecting the inhale, some of them more so affecting the exhale, but like pretty much all misalignments of the spine affect the exhale. Most of them also affect the inhale. So we'll see that in a little bit. So when we're not exhaling fully, then we get really stuck in the elevated heart rate, which is not necessarily a good thing for us. That can affect our blood pressure. Allows us to not really sleep well. We might feel more, our nervous system might be more ramped up. That kind of stuff can happen when we're not fully getting that exhale phase. So it's important to really be aware of, consciously aware of our breathing, especially those exhales, and see if we can get the exhales to be a little longer even than our inhales if we want to sort of flip the switch on our stress levels. So I'm going to have you guys come on your backs, please. And you can have your feet flat, knees bent if that's comfortable. And if it's not, you can have your legs out straight or any other position you like. And I'm going to go ahead and mute, and we will get started. Okay, so just starting to relax on your back. And noticing initially where that breath is moving in your body as you come to be aware of your breath. Let's see if you can keep your attention on the breathing as much as you can. So many of us know, so I'll do a little reading to you as you just take another minute or two to work on your breathing. Many of us know that when we're rushed and feeling pressured, our breathing becomes shallow. But have you noticed that when your nervous system is jacked up, your inhalations are longer than your exhalations? If you can summon the presence of mind to check your breath, the next time you find yourself harried and feeling anxious, chances are you'll find you're emphasizing the inhalation at the expense of the exhalation. And this ratchets up our levels of stress. Short exhalations make us vulnerable to anxiety and depression, causes toxins to accumulate, and can create an imbalance in our autonomic nervous system. The two branches of our nervous system regulate our heart, our lungs, our circulatory system, and our glands. They work in opposition to each other. The sympathetic system helps the body gear up for our physical activity, accelerates our heart rate, raises our blood pressure, increases tension in our large skeletal muscles. And then our parasympathetic, the other side of our nervous system, decreases our heart rate, lowers our blood pressure, and releases muscular tension. The inhalation stimulates our sympathetic branch, and the exhalation stimulates the parasympathetic branch. When we are under pressure, thinking stressful thoughts, we make ourselves tighter and more tense by inhaling longer than we are exhaling. All right, so we're going to do a little experiment here. So if your feet are not flat, go ahead and put them there. And you've had a moment or two now to be aware of how your breath moves naturally. So I want you to just take your rib cage and put your hands on your rib cage, right below your chest. And take your rib cage and kind of pop it over to the right. So you feel like your right rib is sticking out You'll feel a little bit of tone in your core muscles. Now try to take a breath. And then move back to center and take a breath now. Feels very different, right? So when our spine is kind of kinked over to the side a little bit, you'll notice how that affects your breathing. Now go ahead and just do it on the other side, on your left. Pop your left rib cage toward the left without lifting it. And then try to take a breath. And then release back to center and take a normal breath here. Okay, so now let your arms come down at your sides. Roll your arms in toward your body. Keep rolling until your shoulders lift and your chest starts to cave in. Your tailbone lifts away from the floor and your neck is sort of arching. You're rounding your back. And now try to take a breath. And then release, let it all go, and now breathe normally. So that's the position many of us sit in when we are at our desks or when we're watching TV. We tend to let our spine collapse, let our chest collapse, and you can see how our breathing might be compromised if we do that. One more position. So now we're gonna arch our back like when we do cat-cow. So you're gonna arch your back away from the ground. Lift through your rib cage, tip your pelvis down, let your lower back lift away from the floor, your shoulders are down, and now try to take a breath. Easy to inhale, and now try to exhale. A little easier to exhale. So try that again one more time in this position. Inhale, exhale, and then release. So you can see these different positions of the spine and how they affect your breathing. So for me, the arched phase, I still can get a pretty good breath, but it's a little more challenging to exhale than to inhale for me. But when I shift my rib cage to one side or the other or around my spine, that's when breathing can get really compromised. So be aware of that in your own posture. Okay, take any pillows out of the way if you have one underneath you, and let's take a full body stretch. So anytime we can get our spine into a more neutral position like it is now, that's going to lead to optimal breathing. Interlace your palms, flip them, and press them toward the wall behind you, and then push through your legs without lifting your rib cage off the ground, because we don't want to do that pop of the rib cage. Take one more breath here, stretching long. And then we're going to do our up slip, down slip, where we slide the right leg away and then slide the left leg away. And you'll notice that one side of your body gets longer, one side of your body gets shorter. And what we're trying to do here is lengthen the psoas muscle. So when the psoas muscle is contracted in that kind of rounded back position, causing us to flex inward, and that's inhibiting our breath. So lengthening our psoas is going to be a good step to getting our breath to be optimal, which is also really good for our heart. All right, go ahead and relax that. Let the arms come down at your side, bend your knees, set your feet flat again. And we're going to do some flowing bridges. So as you inhale, lift your hips, lift your arms, and come into bridge pose with your arms over your head. And then as you exhale, slowly start to come down. And we're just going to repeat that, and then we're going to work with the breath. So inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. This time we're going to inhale, lift. And then exhale, see if we can count to 4 as we come down. So exhale, 4, 3, 2, and 1, all the way down. And let's do that again. Inhale, come up. And if 4 was easy, let's try 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we start to slow that exhale down. 2 more rounds. Inhale up. And if you can, 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And on your own, either go to 7 or stick with 6. If 6 was hard enough or 5 was hard enough, stick with that. Good. Pause for a moment, breathe into your belly. It's another important thing with our breath, as I always talk about, breathing in the belly, not in the chest initially. And then hands behind the back of the head. As you inhale, we're going to arch the spine away from the ground. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow and the left knee together. So crossing the midline, give a squeeze as you get to the top. And then inhale, come down, arch your spine. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. And give a good squeeze as you come up. And let's repeat that. Inhale, arch. Exhale, other side. So this cross body movement is strengthening the muscles of exhalation. And for many of us, those muscles are quite weak. Remember to give that little pause at the top with a good squeeze. Now we're going to add on, inhale, arch, and this time as you exhale, elbow to knee, straighten the leg. And give that good squeeze as you come across. Inhale, arch, exhale, cross, and straighten the leg. On your own, let's do a few more. One more on each side. All of the muscles in and around our rib cage are breathing muscles. Okay, relax. Let the feet come down. Let the arms come down. Breathe into your belly. And then let's bring the knees into the chest. Give them a good squeeze. And then we'll roll over to the side and come on up into a seated posture. And you can grab a pillow or something to sit on if that works for you. All right, so we'll come into a comfortable seated position, sitting up nice and tall. And again, thinking about how when we have more of a neutral spine, that allows for more optimal breath. So if we were to round our spine, roll our shoulders forward, collapse, we're not going to be able to inhale or exhale very well when we're holding that position. So we can think about our daily habits and how we hold ourselves and how long of a period of time are we in that position where our breathing is so suboptimal and we're maybe not even aware of it. So stack up your rib cage over your pelvis, shoulders over the pelvis, crown of the head extending upward, with the chin just slightly drawing down, back of the neck is long. You should feel a natural tone in your core without having to suck it in. So there is a big difference of how our breathing is going to feel if we elongate our spine to a good posture versus sucking it in, okay? So let's try one more experiment and then we're going to move a little bit more. So sit up nice and tall and have a normal breath into your belly. And then exhale, follow that exhale all the way out to completion. Good. Now try to suck your belly in, squeeze it in, and try to take a breath. And then let that go. So for me, at least, I don't know what your experience is, but when I sit up tall and have a natural tone in my core, I can still get a nice, normal, full breath. But when I suck this belly in and try to breathe, nothing happens. I get such a small sip of air. So we want to strengthen our core, of course, but we don't want to do it by constantly just holding and sucking it in, because that's going to compromise our breath. So let's take a couple rounds of cat-cow seated here. So inhale, we're going to arch the spine, move your chest forward, shoulders back. And as you exhale, round your spine. And then keep going through your cat-cows. And you may notice as you're doing cat-cow, your spine is not neutral as you go through these two positions, but we can still breathe. It's because we're not holding that position. If we were to hold one of these positions, it might be more challenging to get our breath to regulate. But by arching and rounding, we're going through the two phases of rounding, we can do a good exhale. And arching, we can do a good inhale. So let's do two more like that. One more round. Now this time, hold your exhale, round your spine, pull your navel back and kind of squeeze out all the breath. And then release and come back into neutral. Okay, from here, let's try a twist. Inhale, reach the arms up, just like last week. Exhale, twist over to the right. And now we're going to stay here. Inhale, lift up tall, find that neutral spine. And as you exhale, you're going to squeeze those exhale muscles on the side of your waist and see if it'll help you squeeze out all the breath as you turn into the twist. Now hold it there for one more breath and see if you can still get a nice inhale. The more you lengthen your spine, the easier that'll be. And then exhale, squeeze one more time. Good, let's try the other side. Inhale, reach up through center. And exhale, twist. And hold it here. As you inhale, get as tall as you can so we get as much neutral in the spine. And then exhale, we squeeze the side waist muscles. So strengthening the exhale muscles. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale and squeeze. And then release. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, release, arms down. So sometimes if we kind of really work with that exhale, we might find that we can get a freer, fuller inhale as well. So by exhaling completely, it actually helps our inhale too. So let's come into tabletop pose now, all fours. Optional to pad those knees. And we're going to take a couple rounds of cat-cow. We're going to emphasize that exhale phase. And then at the end of the round, we're going to hold the exhale like we did when we were seated. So begin when you're ready by inhaling and exhaling, coming into cat. Round your spine, push through your palms, give a good squeeze to your belly, and then reverse. Inhale, arch. On your own, exhale, round. Keep that going a few more cycles. As you inhale, you might notice that you have a little bit more stretch through the belly and through the diaphragm. That's also beneficial for our heart, getting that good stretch to the tissue in the front body. And as you exhale, there's a little more compression in the area of the belly and the heart. Last round, and this time we hold the exhale. So inhale, exhale, round, hold it out as long as you can. Push through your palms and just make little circles with your upper body. So you're rounding your back, holding the breath, make a little circle, and then release. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round, hold it out again if you can, and then circle the other way. Come back to center, inhale, arch, and exhale, come back to child's pose and rest for a moment. So just take about 3-4 breaths there. Let all of that work go. Okay. One more breath, and then we're going to come back into tabletop pose. Now we're going to move from tabletop to down dog. So as you inhale, reach your chest forward. As you exhale, tuck your toes, lift up to down dog. Complete your exhale all the way, squeeze your belly. And then repeat that. Inhale, knees down, look up. Exhale, lift up, down dog, squeeze your belly, complete your exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. And this time, bend your knees, walk your hands back to your feet, and fold forward over your legs. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, coming into mountain pose, and then exhale, release, arms down at your side. Okay, so a couple of half sun salutations, which we've done before, but we're just gonna keep focusing on those exhales and keep focusing on the squeezing of the belly to make those exhales really complete. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, slight bend in the knees, fold forward, complete your exhale, squeeze into your low belly. Inhale, halfway lift. You can use blocks under your hands if you like as well. Exhale, fold forward, squeeze. And inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, release, arms at your side. So now we're going to add on the counting of the exhales. So we're going to start with 4, and you can progress to whatever number works for you. So if you want to go to 5, 6, 7, 8, wherever you end up, I would say 8's probably the max that you might want to go to today, especially if this is kind of newer work to you. So let's try. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands touch down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze your belly. And inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, release, arms down. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more rounds. If 4 was pretty easy, pick your number that works for you. You could go 5, 6, 7, or 8. Okay, here we go. Inhale, I'm not going to count it out loud, but count in your head. Halfway lift as you are ready, and fold. Rising up as you are ready, take your time, and then release, arms down at your side. One more round on your own. Emphasizing the long exhalation. And release, arms down at your side. Very good. Okay, we're going to learn one more breathing technique here before we do some warrior poses. And this is called funnel breathing. I'm just moving my blanket. So imagine the breath is like a funnel. So stand with your feet about outer hips distance. You feel very stable. And you know, the shape of a funnel is very wide at the top and then very narrow at the bottom. So as you inhale, I want you to think about the wide part of the funnel in your rib cage. So get big and full breath into your ribs, maybe a little bit into your chest. And as you exhale like a funnel, imagine everything getting really narrow, and we squeeze into the belly and the pelvic floor. Okay, so we'll try it for a few rounds, and then we're going to do that in our warrior pose. So here we go. Take a few normal breaths. Don't even think about it. just to relax. Breathe into your belly. Okay, next inhale, put your hands on your rib cage and let's breathe wide into the ribs. Can you feel your ribs expand under your hands like the top of the funnel? And now exhale. Think about squeezing inward, squeezing into the low belly, pelvic floor, like that bottom tip of the funnel. Let's do that 2 more times. Hands on the ribs, inhale. Wide breath. Exhale, squeeze in and get that attention to draw down like the narrowing tip of a funnel. 1 more time, inhale. And exhale. Good. Now release that, step your feet apart wide. Turn your whole right leg out, turn your left toes in a bit, widening your back heel, and then bend into your right knee, come into warrior 2. So root down with your feet, lift up through your chest, try to find as much of the neutral spine as you can so we can have an optimal breath. So tendency here is for our pelvis to tip. A lot of us let our low belly drop forward and our tailbone kind of stick out behind us. So can you lift the low belly muscles and lengthen the tailbone muscle, or tailbone rather, like we did last week when we held one hand here, one hand in the back. And then stay here for your funnel breath. So inhale into your ribs. Exhale, squeeze it out. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Take 1 more round on your own. Follow the exhale all the way to completion, and then you can straighten that leg, bring your hands to your hips, and pause. Have a breath in the center. Okay, try the other side. Turn your whole left leg out so your kneecap and your toes are aligned, and then widen your right heel, turn the toes in a little bit, bend that knee. Your torso is squaring toward the long edge of your mat, and then arms out. If the arms get tired, you can put them on your hips or on your rib cage, okay? And then 3 rounds of your funnel breath. Inhale wide. Exhale narrow. 2 more rounds. Keeping your face relaxed. The inhale wide into your ribs, and the exhale squeezing towards center. 1 more time. And after you finish that exhale, go ahead and release, hands back to the hips, and parallel your feet so that they're parallel to the sides of your mat. Okay, we're gonna do wide leg forward fold. If you need blocks here, grab them. If you can reach the floor easily, you don't need them. We're gonna bend the knees a little bit. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge over your hips and bring your hands down to the ground, either to your blocks or the floor. And then we're gonna inhale, lift up as high as you can with your chest. Come on your fingertips. And then exhale, fold forward and give that squeeze like we've been doing. Let's repeat that 2 more rounds. Inhale, lengthen, straighten the arms. Breathe into your rib cage. And then exhale, squeeze and fold forward. 1 more time. Okay, so coming back up to the halfway position, put your right hand in the center and put your left hand on your hip. we're going to do a little twist here. So as you inhale, breathe into your ribs and lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, start to press into your bottom hand, turn your chest to the left, and then maybe reach the arm up if that would feel good. If that's too much on your shoulder, keep your hand on your hip. And now let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale into your ribs. Exhale, maybe squeeze those side waist muscles and turn a little bit more. One more time. And then release. Let's place that hand back down on the ground and bring right hand onto right hip. Inhale in the center into the ribs, and then exhale, turn into your twist. That's it. And then we stay here for a couple more breaths. Those of you who want to can take that arm and reach it up if it's not too much on your shoulder. Breathe wide. Exhale, narrow. One more. And then release, hand down to the ground. Heel toe your feet back in until you feel stable enough to bring hands to hips. Push your feet into the ground and rise back up. Very good. Okay. Grab your blocks and put them at the top of the mat if they're not there. And we're going to step toward the back of the mat. A couple more standing poses. We're going to step the right foot forward, left foot back for warrior one. So you're going to bend into your right knee and square your chest forward as best you can. And then hands on your ribs initially here. Breathe wide into your rib cage. And then exhale, narrow through center. Try that with your arms overhead. Inhale wide into your rib cage. Exhale, narrow, squeeze towards center. One more like this. Inhale. And exhale. Hands onto your hips. Step your back foot in a few inches. We're going to straighten the legs and work on our pyramid pose. So we're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, slight bend in your front knee, hinge forward, and bring your hands onto your blocks and put them in line with your front foot. So both legs are now straight and we're in sort of a half forward fold. Okay, we're going to keep working with that funnel breath in all of these poses. So inhale and exhale. Now you're welcome to stay in this halfway up shape. If you like a forward fold here over your legs, you could start to lower your torso over your front thigh, lower your blocks, or bring your hands to the floor. But don't force it, don't push it. If it feels better on your back to stay high up, stay high up. And then again, try your breath. Nothing could be more important to our health, to our vitality, than our proper breathing. One more cycle. And if you have lowered your blocks, start to bring them up high, come up to the halfway lift shape, bend your front knee, step forward, and fold over your legs. Inhale, we're going to reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, release, arms down at your side. Very good. Let's try our other side. Step to the back of your mat. Left foot forward, right foot back, warrior one, starting with hands on your rib cage. Remember, we're going to keep that low belly area lifting up. Inhale into your ribs. Exhale, squeeze. 2 more breaths with the arms overhead. Good, and then once you finish that, release your hands down to the blocks and step that back foot in a few inches, straightening both legs. And then staying in the halfway up shape for at least the first breath. So inhale into your ribs, exhale, squeeze. And then your choice, if you feel like coming into the forward fold, you are welcome to do so, or stay in the halfway up shape. And then we're going to take 2 more breaths there. Finish your exhale all the way to completion, and then bend into your front knee and step forward. Fold over your legs. When you're ready to inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, release, arms down at your side. So we're going to repeat that sequence one more time and add on one more pose. And we're going to do it faster, so we're not going to take 3 breaths in each position. Step to the back of your mat. Right foot forward, warrior 1. Bend into your front knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands down to the blocks. Step your back foot in a few inches, straighten both legs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, stay there or fold over your front leg. Squeeze out all your breath. Inhale, come up halfway again, hands on your blocks. This time, take the block that's in your left hand and bring it right over to your right big toe. And keep your hand on that block. Bring your right hand onto your right hip. And see if you can get stable. If you can't, keep your hands on the blocks and work in neutral. If you should not be twisting, don't twist. Inhale into your rib cage. Exhale, turn your rib cage to the right and give a squeeze to those side waist muscles. Now stay there if you can into a slight twist. The legs are strong, root your feet into the ground. If you want, take your top arm and reach it up toward the ceiling. So this is called revolve triangle. If it's too much to lift your hand, keep your hand down on your hip. That's it. Good, release, hand down. Separate your blocks. Step forward. Fold over your legs. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms down at your side. Last standing sequence, we've got the other side to go, then we're going to bring it to the ground again. So step back, warrior 1, left foot forward. Back heel down, bend into your front knee. Inhale, the arms reach. Exhale, hands down to the blocks. Step that back foot in a little bit. Straighten both legs for pyramid pose. Inhale, lengthen into your spine and breathe into the ribs. Exhale, stay there or fold forward. Complete your exhale. Inhale, come up with straight arms again to that halfway lift shape. And then we're going to take the block that's in your right hand to the left big toe. So get closer to the midline. And then left hand on your hip. And you might stay here just working your balance. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn towards your left, any amount, even if you just turn a tiny bit. Root into your legs, squeeze your inner thighs. And then let's see if we can take one more breath. Maybe you'll take your arm up if you're steady. And then hand back down to the blocks, separate your blocks, and bend your front knee, step forward. and fold over your legs. Inhale, reach those arms all the way up. And exhale, release, arms down at your side. Very good. All right, set the blocks to the side. And when you're ready, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. And then we're gonna step back to down dog and bring the knees down and take a child's pose and rest. If child's pose is not feeling good, you can also just come onto your belly and rest down on your belly. And let's take about 3-4 breaths here. Just let that work go. Two more breath cycles. Okay, so from here, we're gonna come on to our backs. And can you guys just stay seated for a moment? I'm gonna show you a movement pattern before you come on your back so you can see. We're not gonna do this movement yet, but I thought it'd be easier to show you first. We're gonna do a round of bridge pose again, and then we're gonna do this one called unwinding. So some of you have done it with me before, but just in case, I'm gonna have my left leg out straight, my right leg bent, and this is a different variation of it. I'm gonna take my left arm overhead. So my left side body is like a full body stretch. Right arm is gonna go down at my side toward my foot, okay? And then as I inhale, I'm gonna push into my right foot, let it drop over, and then I'm gonna look toward that left hand and arch the back. And my hip is lifting off the ground here. And then I'm gonna exhale, a complete exhale to come back to the start. So it's like a rocking motion. Inhale, look toward that straight arm, and then exhale back, okay? So we'll do that next, but for now you can come on your back with your feet flat. So we'll do it a little differently than we did in the beginning. Arms are going to be at your side. And we're going to bring those arms into robot arms. So that means the elbows are down and the palms face each other. Okay? We're going to press down into those arm bones and kind of wiggle your shoulder blades in toward your spine to lift your chest. Now, as you inhale, we'll come into bridge pose. Press in your feet, press in your arms, lift your hips off the ground. Get as high as you can, use your legs. And then slowly coming down one vertebra at a time, like you're laying down a string of pearls. Keep your tailbone up as long as you can. And then when you get to the bottom, tip your tailbone forward and arch your back. Exhale, release back to a neutral spine. Okay, so we had that little element, almost like a baby cat cow at the end. Here we go. Press down through your feet and your arm bones. Inhale, lift up as high as you can into your bridge pose. Press in your feet, press in your shoulders. And then as you come down, exhale slowly, one vertebra at a time. See if you can lay down each vertebra without rush. And as you get to the bottom, the tailbone is coming down very last. And then we're going to tip the tailbone forward, arch the back, and inhale. Exhale back to a neutral spine. Let's do that 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift up, press down. Exhale slowly on your own so that you're really very mindful of your spine. Keep your tailbone up and see if you can bring that down very last. When you get to the bottom, you'll arch your back for an inhale. And exhale back to neutral. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale when you are ready, slowly coming down. Kind of keep the tailbone lifted. So you're able to lay down those vertebrae very slowly. When you get to the bottom, a little arch. That's an inhale, exhale, let it all go now. Arms relaxed, feet flat. Take a couple of breaths. Okay, here comes that movement pattern I just showed you. So we're going to take the left leg out straight and the left arm overhead. Right arm is at your side with your fingers pointing toward your foot. As you inhale, press into your right foot. Let the knee drop over to the left and start to tip your head to look at your left arm. Arch your back away from the ground. And then a slow exhalation to bring you back to the starting point. And let's do a few more on this side. Press in your foot, inhale, arch your back. Exhale, slowly come back to neutral. 2 more rounds on this side. And last one. And let that left arm come down. Bend your left knee and straighten your right leg out. Right arm over your head, so full body stretch toward the right side, left arm down toward your foot. And then we're going to push off the left foot, arch the back, and look to your right hand. And then a slow exhalation back to the start. Repeat. We're doing a total of 4 cycles on each side. So it's number 2. You can even press your right leg into the ground. 2 more cycles. Right leg presses, left foot presses. We're contracting the back body when we come into that arch. It's really good for countering that rounded spine that really inhibits our breathing. And after this next one, go ahead, come back to neutral and slide both legs out for a moment. Just neutralize your spine. Full breath into the belly, into the rib cage. Exhale it out. Right, bend your knees again. Let me just check on our time. Okay. Arms out to a T. Widen your feet as wide as your mat and just windshield wiper your legs side to side. So just bringing things down now. We're almost ready for Shavasana. And the next time your legs drop to the left, leave them to the left. And if it's uncomfortable in any way, you could always stick a pillow under your knees, or you could keep your legs neutral. Option here, take your right arm and reach it over your head, back to that kind of full body stretch, but the legs are bent now. And take your left wrist and, your left hand, hold your right wrist and give a lengthen to the side body on the right. You could push into your right foot a little bit and let your hip press forward You'll get a little more stretch through your psoas on that right side. Full breath in, full breath out. And then let that arm relax. And take the legs up and over to your other side. Knees drop to the right. You can just stay with that. Support the knees if you need to. And then next phase, if you want to go further, take that left arm, reach it over your head and hold the left wrist with your right hand and pull. If you want to go even further, push into your left foot and get that little bit of a lift of your hip. Arch your back slightly and breathe. And then slowly release. Come back to the center, both feet flat. Neutralize through your spine. So make sure your spine doesn't feel curved and take a full breath. Bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit right to left. And then either staying there or come into happy baby. Feet can come up toward the ceiling, but stay a little heavy into the area of your sacrum. And you can hold behind your legs, ankles, feet, or use your strap. Just hold for another breath or two in your happy baby. Or you can stick with your knee hug as well. Big breath into the belly, nice full exhalation. 2 more breaths wherever you are. After your 3rd breath, so after that 2nd round, then we're going to bring the knees into the chest one more time. Take an inhale, exhale, optional lift, head, chest, and shoulders. Squeeze it all out in a little ball. Hold it out as long as you can. Squeeze your belly toward your spine, compact. And then when you're ready, let it all go and find your Shavasana. So you can grab any props that would help you feel comfortable. Maybe supporting the backs of your knees or your head. And as you find your Shavasana, please make sure that your spine is in a neutral position. So notice if there are twists and turns. Notice if you can have a fully optimal breath. And if you can't, what can you adjust so that you can take in those full inhalations, full exhalations? Take your time, make any last minute adjustments. And for the first couple of rounds of breaths, can you let yourself linger in your exhales a little longer? So follow those exhales all the way to completion. My teacher says that the exhale guides us back to the source from which we have come. And only by exhaling can we truly learn to empty and be fulfilled by each passing thing. So just allow your body now to kind of spread into the ground. Make sure you feel nice and centered in your pelvis. And let your sacrum spread and widen against the floor. Make sure you feel lengthened through the back of your neck. And allow the skin of your back to spread wide as it rests on the floor. Imagine the musculature of your legs releasing from the bones. Loosen your calf muscles, your hamstrings, and your glutes, and permit them to give way to release into the floor. And be aware of the structures that surround the brain, and see if you can have a sense of relaxing those structures. Imagine the back of your skull like a ripe grapefruit, making an imprint on the floor, heavy. Let the flesh of the fruit of your brain expand against the inside of your cranium, letting go in your jaw, your tongue, throat, eyes, and inner ears. Become an empty vessel, spacious and bright. And then starting to feel as if you could let go more psychically, more mentally. So our exhales are not only physical, but our exhales are really kind of helping us empty and clear our minds. Drop any attachments you have to material objects, to things you have to do later. Just letting go of plans that you might have for later. And let go of any concepts of who you think you are or who you ought to be. Simply allow yourself to be as you are in this moment. Right, so we're going to take our time and start to reawaken. Let the breath become a little more deliberate and conscious. Take your time, small movements. And as you feel ready, you could roll to your side for a brief pause before returning into a seated posture. And again, find that optimal spinal alignment so we can have good breath. That might mean sitting up on a prop so that your spine can be in a nice straight line, respecting the curves of your spine. And then as you're ready, you can just sit up tall and either close your eyes or find a focused, soft gaze. Take a few more moments to focus on your conscious breathing. And that inhale, fill up into the belly and the ribs, and follow your exhale to completion. So we don't exhale all the way out. We have a little bit of excess carbon dioxide, which is a stressor on our nervous system, and it doesn't get all the way out. And then we're constantly having a little bit of that, and that just can create more stress in our system. So exhale to completion for 3 more cycles. After your 3rd cycle, no rush. We're going to bring hands together in front of your heart space. And take an inhale, and as you exhale, bow your head to meet your heart. And thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry I had to rush to you, and a guy sitting out front side of my house waiting to check my invisible fence for the dogs.
Oh, I'm sorry. No worries.
He called me 10 minutes ago. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys later. I'll see you at 6 o'clock. Okay. All right. See you. Kathy, just so you know, my mom invited Ray and my brother and Michelle, so we're gonna have 10 people, but just letting you know that we'll have a big crowd. She's paying for that group of people, so just letting you know.
Okay.
I don't mind them. Yeah, I know. It's just strange because my brother usually never comes to my birthday stuff, and so it's just I don't know. It's going to be weird for me, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Are we going back to your house afterwards or not?
I don't think we are. I think we're just going to do dinner and that's it.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. See you later. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.